Alright, welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. If you've never been here before, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button, please. Click the bell next to the subscribe button so you are notified every time a new video goes up on SouFLoTV. The son of a man who was a victim of the Windrush scandal in the UK says now that the Home Office has asked him to do a DNA test to prove his relationship to his father as part of his compensation application. Let's get into this story. Now, Dejon Jagru Bryan, and I hope I didn't butcher his name. According to BBC British Broadcasting Corporation, they said that Dejon received an outrageous letter asking for more evidence of his relationship with his father, Anthony Bryan, who was nearly deported in 2017 after living in Great Britain for over 50 years. Before I go any further with this information, let's just put this piece of knowledge out there. Shout out to our British family, but a lot of you in the UK who have children who don't have proper papers because of how you went to the UK and all that, you need to start telling these people about where they're from, and you need to start making sure that they have proper documentation. This has been going on for too long, and we've seen too many cases. Now, imagine living in the UK for 50 years and then finding out, according to them, well, you should have went and got some other kind of paperwork on yourself, so we're sending you back, deporting you to Jamaica. 50 years. Now, with that part said, a human rights lawyer representing hundreds of Windrush victims said that the Home Office's request was basically disrespectful. It was intrusive and it was traumatic, is how they actually described it. The Home Office now says that Mr. Jagru Bryan is not required to provide the DNA evidence, but that was only after BBC News asked for a response to this case. Imagine that. They had to go get the whole big old British Broadcasting Corporation to basically say, look, we're going to blow this story out the water. We're going to put it as headlines. So if you don't want to be out there in the front, I mean, think about what you're doing. We just need a response from you, really, so we can go ahead with our case or with our story. And based on that, the Home Office changed its mind and said, okay, guess what? You don't have to bring us the DNA proof that that's your daddy. Now, mind you, this man and this child got pictures from the child was way back. I'm talking about like less than a year old, okay? And all throughout his childhood, him and his daddy, all these pictures. He got his daddy's last name. He looks like his daddy in the face, everything. I know that doesn't mean that that is your biological father, but the thing is, they never asked of this for anybody else before. Now, the government apologized in 2018 after some of the Windrush generation and their children were wrongly told that they were in the UK illegally. Could you imagine that? You just wake up and one day you're illegal. You're going about your business. You have your career. You're either retired and invested so much into the UK, or you are looking towards retirement. Your children are growing up and are grown, and all you know is the UK. Majority of them never went back to Jamaica. Majority of their children have never seen Jamaica. And you wake up one morning and you're told you and your children are illegal here, and we are starting your deportation proceedings. Damn. Has hostile immigration policy affected their right to work, to find homes, and to have NHS treatment? Some of them were detained and faced deportation. Some people got deported. Anthony Bryan, not Byron, 66 years old, lived in London after coming to the UK from Jamaica when he was 8. The UK sometimes is despicable the way they handle their immigration issues. Imagine you were 8 when you left Jamaica or for whatever homeland, and now you're 66. And at 66 is when they're coming to tell you, you gotta go. You have no rights to be here. In 2017, he was arrested, held in a detention center twice, once for nearly 3 weeks, and he was almost deported back to Jamaica. His story was made into the BBC drama in 2020. Mr. Bryan, who is on medication for a serious lung condition, he accepted a compensation offer from the Home Office in 2023 after 5 years of what he says was constant setbacks and delays. Children of the Windrush descendants are also eligible to apply for compensation if they can prove that they have suffered losses. A similar scheme is in place for families of those who were affected by the post office scandal. Dejon Jagru Bryan, he's 39 years old. His daddy is 66. He applied for compensation as he says he has been left with long-term trauma, financial losses, and his own children were affected after not being able to see their grandfather when he was detained, and the trauma that went along with them watching their grandfather in detention, going through the anxieties of him being removed from the UK to where they might never see him again unless they take a plane and go to Jamaica, and all the other stuff that comes with it. He said, I've suffered watching my dad being held in prison, and I've suffered going through the steps that I needed to do in order to get him to stay in the UK. So they didn't just drag him through it, they dragged the entire family through it. Now they in the UK have set up a compensation pipeline for people like me to come forward, say how it was affecting us, and if we qualify, then we too should get some compensation. Now that I'm here trying to get it, they're asking me to show DNA proof that this is actually my father. Man. So, as part of the process, Mr. Jagru Bryan, he received a letter from the Home Office asking for proof that Mr. Bryan was his father. The letter, seen exclusively by BBC News, and they have verified it, the letter stated that he could voluntarily submit further evidence to support his application, such as a postnatal, hospital, doctor, or midwife records, or nursery and primary school records, which name Anthony Bryan as his father. DNA evidence, although voluntarily, would also be considered, the letter said. And this was after they demanded straight DNA. Now they're giving him a choice and saying he could show other things. Show your school records. Your daddy signed up for anything at your school. You know, your doctor records coming up as a child, midwife records, nursery, primary school records, etc. We'll take those now instead. Degrading. That's the least I can say. Friggin' degrading. Super disrespectful. I would tell my people who are living in the UK, my Jamaican people, or Jamaican by extension, people that are living in the UK, the offsprings of, I don't think you will ever be safe 100%. I think you definitely have to walk around feeling like at any given moment, they might come up with something new. And I might be on my way to Jamaica against my will. That has to be a unsettling kind of mindset to live in. Now, Mr. Jagru Bryan, he said that the letter had caused him and his family even more upset. It's outrageous. Me submitting a DNA test doesn't change what I've gone through. Mr. Bryan said that he could not believe it when his son told him about the letter. They're at fault, and still we have to fight this and fight that and do this and do that and do a DNA test and get the midwife records and the primary school records and the this and the that. It's degrading. And once again, I feel like the Home Office is insulting our intelligence, he said. A human rights lawyer, Jacqueline McKenzie, said, quote unquote, "I'm not surprised that this has now become an issue in the context of Windrush. The treatment of black people generally is so bad across society in the UK, and particularly by the Home Office. In some immigration cases, the Home Office can ask applicants to provide more evidence of their biological relationship with a family member, such as a birth certificate, DNA test results, or a UK court order." But Ms. McKenzie said that this was the first time she had ever heard about a DNA test result request from Windrush victims. You gotta understand how far back the Windrush stuff goes, you know? And she, as an attorney, is saying, this is the first time I've ever heard of this. So they're just making up new stuff as they go along the way, putting more obstacles in the way. She believes that they are being held to a different standard compared with families of other political scandals, such as the post office scandal. It's obviously shocking, she said. I think racism is really at the heart of this. A Home Office spokesperson said claims of the Windrush compensation scheme are considered on their individual merits, but that's always what they say. Now, when necessary, further information may be requested to ensure we can issue the maximum award available at the earliest point possible, and we will support individuals on how to provide further evidence. They then added that the government is committed to righting all the wrongs of the Windrush scandal and making sure that those who are eligible and entitled to compensation under the Windrush compensation scheme receives the compensation that they rightfully deserve. That's always what they say, but that's not always how it plays out. Shout out to my family in the UK, my British family by extension. If you know your history, you know the connection between Jamaica and the United Kingdom, and you also will know that the Jamaican community in the UK is extensive. Big up to them. Big up to those who laid the foundation for us. And shout out to those for staying in touch. One piece of advice I would give you is to go get you a piece of the rock. The British money is a lot when it is exchanged for Jamaican currency. The pound goes a long way in Jamaica. No matter how long you are in the UK and how much you have invested blood, sweat, and tears, as much as you want to be seen as that, they will always see you as Jamaican. So don't throw stone behind your back. Even if you left when you were 8 and you're now 66, go lay down some foundation in Jamaica, because nobody knows what the future holds. And the wind might blow this way or that way, and those people wake up one day saying, you must go. Your children must go. Your children's children must go. You just never know. I'll catch y'all on the next video. Leave your comments in the comment section below. It's SouFLoTV. I'm out. Peace.